100,000,000%. The Aurora Borealis or whatever last night was chemtrails. It was chemtrails, 100%. 100%. Confirmed now. Because that's exactly what it looked like last night. That pattern in the sky. And it didn't move. It stayed there, like exactly like what that's doing.
Right, so I have here with me Richard, the beer guy. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Just very quickly, because you were talking just as I thought, we're not recording it. We met years ago, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Probably almost a decade ago now.
I know. Yeah, you were a very young man then, weren't you?
Yeah. What did we do?
We went to the Space Centre, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they were going, the parents were going, look at the rockets. Look at the rockets. They were all fake, pretend, toy size. And the women, the parents are going to the children like it's magic. Look at the rockets.
I know. I can remember walking around because Martin were doing a live for his laptop. So we were like running around on his live looking at stuff. And then he was like, oh, what have you found, big guy? And I was like, that piece of meteor or whatever they're trying to say is just looks like a house brick with some black paint on. That's literally what it was. A house brick with black paint. That's from space. Okay.
The first time Martin spoke to me there, instead of calling me Karen, is what's your car? Right, car? Yeah, car. No car. Anyway, yeah, I met him a few times after that, Martin Leakey.
Yeah, he's cool.
So, what it was is, not that you don't put this stuff out a lot, you were putting out this video here, which we would have already played, and what you're saying is that it's not just HARP, they have to have, explain it, the chemtrails in the sky.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. On my TikTok video, I basically explained the same thing. So the night of the Aurora Borealis that was in the UK, the one that everyone kind of focused on, because there has been
the one in
more,
June
apparently.
or something, wasn't it?
Sorry?
It was early June.
Early June. Yeah. So when it was in the sky, I was just looking around because it was fading away by the time I saw it with my eyes, and it looked different when you took a picture of it, which was strange as well. But yeah, when I was looking at it, I was like, it didn't even really look like that, and it's not moving, it's not doing anything, it's just like stuck there in the sky. And then the next day, on my way to work or finishing a job or whatever, and then I just looked up at the sky and I was like, that looks like the Aurora Borealis, but with no colours because it's daytime and not nighttime.
Right, yeah.
From my experience and what I've seen, it looks like they put chemtrails into the sky and then they turn the HARP on. It interacts between the chemtrails and
how disgusting is that? So everybody thinks it's a chem or contrail with some horrible, say, things in it, but really they need that up there because they need that so that they can put the HARP through it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that there isn't like particles of whatever, nanobots or whatever. What do they use again?
Barium. Barium?
Yeah, well, it's barium, aluminium, the sulfur oxide or something.
That makes sense because when you look at the, to me, how I worked it out, what HARP was, you just get the rainbow. In there you've got short and long waves, but the colours, and when you see the colours in the sky, they match up to the rainbow. And then, of course, when you get, like, say, orangey red, that's microwave. And that's why they need that stuff in the air.
Yeah. They even came out and said the Met Office. They're basically saying that it's not contrail from airplane exhausts and condensation in the atmosphere. It is from us spraying chemicals and stuff. And I think they say one of the things, it's got silver oxide. It might not have been sulfur, but it's silver oxide. Silver's the most magnetic, most electric metal that you can get.
What about colloidal silver?
That's what you can drink, isn't it?
Not electric, though.
It's supposed to clean your blood. Yeah.
I was just talking about that on a different hangout, that's why. But colloidal silver, that wasn't one. But that's very interesting, that silver's electric.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the #1 most electric metal that you can
Really?
get. Yeah, there's carbon. They say particles of graphene oxide. That's it, graphene oxide.
You need to be a
That's supposed to
scientist before you even start, don't you? Then.
Sorry.
You need to be a scientist before you've even started.
Well, these are all hypotheticals. I don't know if anyone's isolated a chemtrail and taken this stuff out, but you can also do that test yourself. You know, if it's been raining one day and it dries out the next day, you can get a credit card and scrape the dust that's on the top of your car and scrape it all up, and then when you put a magnet near it, it jumps to the magnet. So obviously there's
right, okay.
in there.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to get all this graphene oxide into people's bodies to make them controllable.
Yeah, because it's heavy X-ray. When you look at the colours of the rainbow and the skies that they give you, some of it's microwave, but some of it's heavy X-ray. What would you want that near you for?
Yeah, well, they've been trying to do us with radiation for ages.
You know, don't you? Because when we were talking about having this hangout, you were talking about the fact that you had seen that video I put out with all them pulsing the Americans like that.
Yeah, they call it NexRad, I think. NexRad.
Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it, though, that? I mean, that's probably what they're doing to us, but they were just showing America on that video. But they're probably doing the same to us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's all...
Oh, it's just disgusting, Richard.
Yeah, they're using electricity in the wrong way. So, civilization that came before us, obviously they were highly advanced. They built pyramids and they built all these big ancient structures that have so much intricacy to them, like we couldn't do it with modern day tools. You know, they've had that stuff thousands.
Well, look
of
at
years
Jordan.
ago.
You know that place in Jordan? That thing with the front when it comes out the rock. That goes in for miles. They cut all that out.
Yeah. So
but just to say, we're sort of showing a little bit of the Prince Charles video, which I put your video out on my channel a few months ago because, well, it's all satanic, isn't it?
Yeah. With the royal family has always had satanic, not origins, but they say that King Charles is supposed to be a descendant of Dracula or something. Yeah, they've always had synchronicities or things that are to do with Satan or Satan worship. I think this is why some people turn to Jesus, because they say, well, why are they being all satanic? They literally worship the Satan, so why would I want to be worshipping Satan? I'm going to do the opposite and worship Jesus. But
why is everything to do with numbers, though, Richard? I mean, you can work. You like on your video when you were with Jesse, and you took over for a bit because he lost his signal. But why is it all that everything matches up to a frigging number? It's always got to be a number. It's usually 3, 6, or 9, isn't it?
Well, it depends what type of information it is or what.
Is that when it's a 15 or something like that?
Yes, well, 15 is a Illuminati number, and 51 is Illuminati number. But yeah, there's different things that they use, different numbers for different things. But to be linking a lot of stuff to the eclipse that just happened.
Yeah, I heard you say that on your video. What? That's incredible. But the whole thing's incredible, how they can promote years and years and years ahead. But I suppose it's just a system, we're in it, and that's how they can do it. But carry on, explain a bit about that then. Why the eclipse?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that happens around lunar events. There's a guy on YouTube called Waters Above Crypto. He does like cryptocurrency, but he also does decoding of the markets and predictions of the markets. So he's like, if you've ever seen Decode Reality, Jason Pyatt is like him. Uses numerology, astrology, and gematria, and he uses all these things and pulls them all together to help him predict the markets. But from the main stuff of what he goes into, because he was on Archaic's YouTube channel the other day.
James likes him. I don't think you know James, but James, who's out in Portugal, he likes Archaic.
Yeah, he's he spent 25 years reading books, and he pulled loads of information out. So yeah, he knows.
What, the old books? You mean the old books?
Yeah, old books. He basically just went round and asked every prison in America to send all the old books to his prison, so he could like chronologize.
Oh, is he in prison then? I didn't know that. Is he still in prison?
No, he's out of prison now. He went in prison for 25 years. He basically got caught up in something when he was 17, and then rather than him just letting it go, he went to the lady that it happened to while he was there and says to police, because I think it's the right thing to do. And so he went with her to police to help and try and sort this other guy out. But then he was like guilty because he was mates with the guy that had done all the stuff.
Yeah, it's in America. If you see it happen and you don't report it, they give you just the same sentence as if you'd done it, but you didn't. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Like guilty by association, isn't it?
Yeah, but well, he had to go to prison because they have to do these things even if years later they realise, oh, they were innocent.
Yeah, well, that's because the judge that he had, like literally the previous case that he'd had, he let a cop killer go, so a person that had gone and killed the policeman. So he had all these news reporters that were reporting on his case, and it was like he wasn't even really involved, but he still got one of the highest sentences because the
wow.
Judge.
Do you know the one I like the most? But of course you've got to do it, and I don't know anyway. But you say to the judge, are you allowed to be in this court? Is your jurisdiction to look after this court? Because you'll probably find that the judge shouldn't be sitting in the court that you are. And then you think of all the court cases where the wrong judge has been in the court and passed your case. Everybody can get those cases re-looked at because the wrong judge was in the court for a start.
Yeah.
That's disgusting, isn't it? That most people are in prison for years, maybe not realising that the judge that proceeded over their case shouldn't have been there, so you can have it redone again. That's ridiculous, isn't it, what they do? Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, most court cases go, the financial transactions, they're not actually a case to be
well, they don't go to court to do law, do they? It's dots and full stops and S's and things.
They go to the bar. They get taught at the bar to be a judge. And
I just don't understand how they, in our whole history thing about we have to go to the ship on dry dock and get on that. I mean, it's pathetic when you realise what our court is. And as it's full of lies and the wrong judges have been there, I'd say it was broken. It's all broken and it's all corrupt.
Yeah. I've got ideas to be starting out a new country. I'm trying to get them all together, and then I can try and bring it out and make it a thing. So basically stopping everyone in your local area paying the council tax towards all these criminals that put it into a central government. You don't actually pay your council tax to your local government. It all goes to a central government, and then the central government then redistributes it to all the areas. So places in like London, the biggest white because there's more people there. Places that are on the outskirts get barely nothing and start going into disrepair. And also they take cuts along the way that go to all these politicians that are
with their little corporations, yeah.
Yeah, but usually they put the name as a corporation and then they run it on Dun and Bradstreet. They can't really get done for anything. They can just claim bankruptcy at any point. But they all get hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of expenses, and then they also get the wages and everything on top, and that only really goes up. So these higher up people that are politicians and all these people, they basically just get everything paid for whilst everyone else is running about and doing stuff. It's a backward system. The people that do the least in the world get the most money, and the people that do the most in the world get the least amount of money. It's a backwards way, and
do you know the one thing I don't like is when you realise this? People, you know, when you watch adverts, sometimes Bono did them from YouTube, but you've got other actors, Ewan McGregor is one. When they make those adverts, nearly all the money goes to them and hardly anything goes to the charity. And what it was is Bono was caught, and he was caught taking all the money. He went to court. They fined him.
Well, this is another thing. If you've got a charity, if you've got a charitable, not-for-profit organisation or company, legally only I think it's either 5 or 15% of the money that comes into that charity actually has to get spent on charitable things. So it's very good for rich people because they can just have a little charity, and rather than paying 40% tax on whatever, they just pay it to this pay all the money to this charity as a donation, because you can't get taxed on money that's donated.
Yeah, they've probably got everything in trust, haven't they?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, this is like, that's the next level to it. So they pay everything to the charity, and then the charity has usually like events and stuff, and they'll get artists or pretend artists to do paintings. So the pretend artist does the painting, values it at whatever price he wants to value it at, and then that
they're
gets
just
sold
corrupt.
to the
Come on, they're just corrupt. It's all how to bend the law, but you've got to live under the law. But they bend the law for everything.
Yeah, this is it. This is why I'm wanting to try and change things. So locally, what I'm wanting to do, I'm trying to set up so that everyone that comes and talks to me and wants to go ahead, we'll be setting up our own individual trusts. So every household that basically wants to join and do what I'm doing, they'll have their own trust, and then there'll be a master trust that all the other trusts can go into. So it's basically hidden, and no one needs to know about it. And
well, when you get that going properly, you would have another little hangout about that.
Yeah. It's something that I think needs to be done, because gas, water and electric, they're all prepaid for out of the money that we pay for tax. So when it's paying us bills for gas, water and electric, we're actually paying, which is classed as double dipping. And
isn't also like 100% electricity comes to your house, you use 10%, they charge you 100, then they take the 90% to the next house, charge them 100, and it goes on like that, doesn't it?
I don't know. It sounds like you're getting mixed up with fractional reserve banking. I don't know.
No, in the gas I'm talking about. It comes to your house, they charge you 100% for it, but you only maybe have 20% or 30%, but they charge you 100, and then they send the next lot onto the next house, and they get charged the same. So it's just how they make money out of you.
I don't know. I don't pay it, but yeah, I'm staying away from people like that. The parody record profits while everyone else is scrimping and saving and trying to get by.
Oh, they've only got Richard. They've only got some digits. It's just digits.
Yeah, and now they're trying to take this winter payment for old people off, so that they can't have their eating on. This is why this really needs to happen now. So basically, I've got a mate that goes around and takes out the old meters, puts
smart meters in,
meter, or their own meters in, and then basically just sticks the finger up at the whatever company they've been paying, and just says, well, I'm measuring a meter in my own supply of gas now. Your services are no longer required. And then, yeah, just completely. I know that I moved in, they haven't got a name for me.
Oh, yeah, you haven't been paying your bills for a while, have you? You told me last time.
Yeah, about 2 years now, nearly. Yeah. I stopped paying my council tax as well. They haven't really done anything about that. It's a many letters or anything.
I hate that one. Of all the taxes, I hate that one.
Yeah, just stop paying it, Karen. Not going to do anything. They'll threaten you, but they ain't going to do anything. But yeah, I haven't got anything that's of any value really. The only thing that's of any value is the car that's sat on my drive, and that's a 55 plate Ford Focus C-Max. So it's only worth about £1,000 if that. So yeah, they can't get the money back off of that. So how else are they going to do it? Try and get an attachment to earnings or something. But yeah, they start getting an attachment to earnings, I'll just class myself as not working, and I'll go and live in a field. If we really have to put up with tyranny and we have to pay all these people that are making rich,
They're keeping us as slaves, basically.
Yeah. Well, this is where it starts. So yeah, I've got the mate that goes around and fits all these gas and electric meters in. And then obviously you're getting your gas and electric for nothing. And if there are enough people in one area, so I live in like it's a small town, nearly a village. There's probably about 20,000 people that live in it. So yeah, if I got 20,000 people all signed up to do this, and then rather than paying our council tax to the council, we'll pay it to our local town, and then we can make sure. So that's like, say it's eight, and I've got 20,000 people paying that. That's like millions of pounds. So you've got millions of pounds that can all be spent locally on improving your own little town, rather than going to a central government that then breaks it all down. And then they pay extortionate for contractors to come and dig the roads up, that then keep temporary traffic lights down for like years on end that never seem to get fixed. And then they get more funding because they put bus lanes and 20-mile-per-hour zones down. And they did it in our town. I've seen about 5 buses over the last year actually use that bus lane. It was a complete waste of time, and it slows the whole traffic down. People getting to work.
They love that, though, don't they?
Yeah.
They love doing those kind of things.
It used to take me 15-20 minutes to get to Sheffield. Now it takes me about 40.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, what do they? They don't care if our life's a misery. The whole point is they're trying to make our life a misery.
Yeah.
Whichever way you look at it, that's it. They're just dominators.
Yeah. It only stops when we say no. That's what I mean. If I can get this village to say no, we're not going to pay you extortionate prices. We're going to do things our own way. Then what are they going to do? They can't remove the military.
Well, do you know something? This is what I've heard, right? For that last election, which we've got up there where we had Keir Starmer, I showed you that. Basically, the government is saying that 30% of the people voted. That means 70% of the people didn't vote, which means to me is a lack of confidence in the government. And how they can forge ahead with all this harp and everything else and carry on when they didn't get the majority of the people voting for it. We don't want it. We don't want them.
Yeah.
Because, just turn on the news. Every day there's got to be some new catastrophe that the BBC are making up with probably NASA and all their studios. Yes, it's all disgusting when you think about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what's quite handy about TikTok? If I put my mouse over the top of the little video, it plays. So we're not actually playing... Well, we're playing your little videos in the background.
Yeah.
You're just doing the Ananita Musica lamp?
Oh, well, no, that was that. No, you don't want to play that. That was just me designing stuff on a 3D printer and making it for a friend.
Oh, right. Well, anyway, we'll go to this one then. This one's John is an autograph machine.
Yeah, John Cena, that WWE wrestler, he was signing stuff really quick. I forgot what I found with that. I don't know, signing stuff, and then he made an hand gesture or something. Or he was like, he was drawing pentagrams, that's what he was doing. His signature's a pentagram.
Oh, right, yeah, I see what you mean. Oh, why is he doing that?
I don't know, apparently that's how he signs, but whatever.
Oh, well, you can see him drawing the pentagram, yeah.
Yeah. The one that I got most views on, it wasn't any conspiracy type thing. It when we had a massive downpour and everywhere were starting to flood, and I just pulled at a traffic light and.
I've done that one. 108,000 views. Yeah. And what were you saying on that one, by the way? Because I've just done that one. But what were you saying on that one?
It weren't a conspiracy. It was just showing that people still had a bit of a heart in them, because they were, I think, a post worker or something on his bike, and then obviously there's a massive flood under this bridge. So a guy in his van's like, "Oh, chuck your bike in back and we'll give you a lift onto the other side." So yeah, we're just showing that people still have a heart and they still go out of their way to do stuff for each other. So I'm kind of happy that did 100,000 views. It went pretty well. There's one at 53,000.
Oh, I see what you mean. In the distance there, yeah, he's putting his bike in the back of his van.
Yeah. And my second one had most views, 53,000. It were New Year, and it just seemed like the music was just like building up and starting to get more intense and more intense. And then as soon as the music kicks in, the clouds like parted and the moon popped out. I was like, what? It seemed like they triggered the clouds to open up.
Oh, is that round the big wheel in London?
Yeah.
I've got that one now, so I'll just let that one play in the background. It's a bit small, but they'll be able to see it. Oh. Right.
No, it's another one that really hasn't got any conspiracy behind it, but it has got a little hint at a little of like weather manipulation. The videos that are conspiracy seem to do pretty well, but yeah, all the conspiracy ones are a little bit lackluster.
I know, but it's not easy, is it, to try and tell people what's going on? Oh, there's another one down here for 7,245. Oh, that one's 53 and that one's 7,000. Was that 70? No, 7,249.
Yeah, that was just another London one with New Year. But yeah, all my conspiracy ones, I usually average about 700-800, but I've noticed recently, if I put one on, I did the Donald Trump one.
Yeah, you didn't get many for that one, did you?
No, I got 36 views, and it would literally just happened in news. I was like, right.
You know what I did about that one? Any blood on his face, which means it wasn't real, he wasn't there, none of it was real. And I also put a video out when the shooter says, "You've got the wrong man," so the guy was still alive.
Yeah.
The one they were accusing was still alive.
Yeah, the guy who was all over the news, apparently he'd been in a BlackRock video. You know, there's them three companies, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street.
Oh my God! There you go.
Apparently he'd been in an advert with a BlackRock advert. So.
Oh my God! They're the ones that own YouTube, Google, Facebook, eBay, WhatsApp, and more.
Yeah, I find stuff in films as well, or movies and series and stuff.
Films are a bit of a nightmare for me, because when you're watching something you think is real, and I'm going, "Oh no, it's all fake, I can see it. No, look, that actor looks like someone else." That's what I see when I watch films.
Yeah.
But what got you into the numbers exactly then? Because obviously you like I can't say it now. Pneumology, yeah.
So basically, I saw gematria probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty cool." Started watching it all, getting it all, and I tried to start learning it and tried to do it myself. I couldn't really do it. I think that kind of put me off at the time, so yeah. I went away from it, and then it seemed to come back in full circle. And then I started doing my own roadie codes, all around some flick at the time, but the things were happening around the eclipse, because one of my first ones.
So what does that mean then, around the eclipse? What does that mean? Is that a new era then, or something?
So I think something definitely happened around the eclipse. I reckon they put the solar simulator up when the eclipse happened. And there's a video of the reporters, and they get to this certain town. They're going all around the US, and there's all these news reporters in America. And it gets to this certain town, the one that had the most totality, so basically the one that stayed darkest for longest. And they were saying on there they saw something else in the sky. They said they saw the sun and the moon there, and then they said they saw something else like a bright light.
This is very, very sad. I bet you probably don't know about it, but I had a friend, Ron, who was covering lots of things. He had cameras on his front lawn, and he was either catching orbs and all sorts of weird things happening around his house, or when he was pointing it up at the sun and had film, you could see something up there. It's on one of my videos. He made that obviously about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe a bit longer, and you could see this thing up there in the sun. But what people don't realise is some people say, God, look at the size of that spaceship or whatever they think it is. They don't realise that the sun in your perspective isn't actually very far away. So if you can point a camera up and zoom in a little bit, you're going to see what's up there. But can they really track the sun? Can they really do that? Can they really have some... Or are we finding out the workings of the sun? I don't know. We don't even know what we live in, do we?
Yeah, I know there's patents for a sun simulator. Some people I speak to say that then. I was like, well, we don't even, sun is already a simulator, and if it's already from, because Eric Dollard, he's like a very smart scientist, followed lots of stuff that Tesla did, and he said that the sun isn't a ball of fire, it's a portal, it takes its energy from somewhere else and then puts it here.
Yeah,
So,
if I had to say what it was, you know when you have a magnifying glass and then the light goes through and it burns the things below, that the magnifier. And this other lady who's been doing a lot round the eclipse, she put out a video because she changed the filters on her camera, and you could see about 9 discs up there.
Yeah. There's that picture from China, isn't it, where there's like 7 suns in the sky or something.
It's probably the same thing because all those discs make the sun.
Yeah.
But then if you think about it, there could be suns all over the place if it takes all those discs. It could be loads of suns everywhere through that. It's crazy all that, but he definitely filmed something up there himself with his cameras on his lawn.
Yeah.
Guess what they did? Guess what they did to him? I really don't understand this, but supposedly, and it's on the news. Basically, he's rung up 911. And basically you can hear him, but he's talking to someone, but you can't hear them, which is very strange. And the very thing that happens is you hear him, then you hear the call, and then you hear the responder, which is impossible. It should only be from when the responder picks the call up. So I don't understand what that is. And then they shot him 13 times. And the guy gets out, and from getting out of his car to killing him is a few seconds, like 13 seconds. And basically all the traffic's driving around, and then what it is when he's lying dead on the floor, you can hear them still firing loads of guns and bang, 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 bang. They don't ever talk about those, and they say that he had a gun, they shot him, they said they asked him to put his gun down, but from the video you can see they didn't, so the sheriff lied. I think the police officer cold-bloodedly killed him, but is it because he's got information on those cameras? I don't know what he was doing. I don't understand how he could be dead. He died in June. About June the 15th. So sad. I just find it disgusting, to be honest. He was murdered. I mean, that's the one thing that we don't have to worry about. I mean, if you get on the wrong side of the police here, I'm sure they're not very nice, but they don't get guns out and kill you without asking you questions. Over there, put the gun down, and if you don't, bang, bang, you're dead.
Yeah.
But it's just so sad because I wasn't expecting with his death to find so many inconsistencies and problems. But I'm telling you, that sheriff for there, it's South Carolina, he should have resigned, and the police officer that shot him should have been arrested.
Yeah.
It's murder. What they do is disgusting. I wouldn't like to have the American police.
Yeah. It's the thing that all the police think they're above the law, that they are the law, but no, they're not.
And they're corrupt.
Well, yeah, that's it, yeah. The higher the levels, it's same with NHS over here, that's all corrupt. All the medical services and everything, they're corrupt.
Everything's corrupt.
Yeah.
You know, I worked out a long time ago, because a case I had, that the ombudsman are a government body being paid millions to do nothing.
Yeah. I've heard that story, the one that you told me about your boiler, yeah.
No, not the boiler. It was to do with the fact they put PPI on my account, but I didn't take it as a product, so they couldn't have put us in the PPI fiasco. They put wrong charges onto my account, which is something totally different. Even if it was a PPI product, they put those wrong charges on my account, and we should have been dealt with as customers who had wrong charges put on our account. It was totally different than the PPI fiasco, which they narrowed down into a little tiny pool, and in the end nobody got any money, even though the High Judge did it. It's all pathetic, that.
Yeah. Well,
and the thing is that the banks will have known what's happened. They will have been told that an error, the bank made the error and it should have been dealt with the bank. Oh, they're disgusting. And then the ombudsman sides with them, even though they're the ones that did it. I mean, the banks are trading in fraud. It's the same with the banks. It's the same with everything.
This is why I'm standing against it now. So, stopping paying my gas, water, stopping paying my council tax. I'm going to try and people as I can to start doing the same, and then keep everything in trust. And then around my local village, if bailiffs or whatever start turning up, we can turn up with people as well. So there'll be half at the village that turn up to this one person's house that the bailiffs decide to come out. So they'll get the story eventually, and then they'll stop coming out. And they'll be like, all right, well, that town gets everything, gas, water and electric, and no council tax, fair enough. And I think that'll just start spreading. This is what I want to happen. Yeah, people are getting ripped off and being extortionate. So same for the shops, all the big shops. Tesco made record profits, Morrison's made record profits, all these shops made record profits, and all they did with the record profits is pay the CEO like an extra £100 million a year. The £100 million, that's so my job, if I work for 20 years, I'll probably make about £500,000. So why does any individual in the whole world need any more than £1 million a year? So that's still ridiculous. So you're getting four people's. So my job, 20 years, so 40 years work that I'd be working, and they get that every year. That's still ridiculous. No one needs this amount of money. No one needs the amount of money that they've got. And I want to start building...
Especially as when you put it into digits, you haven't really got any money, you've just got a digit.
Yeah, well that's all important. The banks aren't in the business of giving loans. Banks are in the business of purchasing securities. That's all that banks do. They purchase securities. When you ask for a loan from the bank, they're not actually giving up any of their own money. They are purchasing your promissory note to say that you're going to pay it back. And then
well, you know something else as well. I put a
it.
video out about a guy who was talking about that. And because, like, say, with mortgages, you make that amount of money, when they say that you're the debtor, it's not. It's the other way around. It's the bank that's the debtor, not you.
Yeah. So they basically gave up. No, it's called consideration. So they gave no consideration. So they offered none of their own assets or anything else. They just generated the money from nothing. They got you to sign, which they then make into a promissory note, and then they float it, and they get 10 times the amount of what's on. So say your house is £100,000, they get 900,000 that they can then go and play with and do whatever they want and invest in wherever. And if any other people are wanting more money, they can take bits out of that. But then once they get another signed document that comes back, say another mortgage, they then get another, say, £900,000 off of £100,000 loan. Yeah, so it's fractional reserve banking. It's been an absolute parasite. That's why the world is the way it is, because of fractional reserve banking. And the elite people know how to run it, i.e. making it so, Klaus Schwab, the Darth Vader guy, the World Economic Forum, he said, you're going to own nothing and be big. Well, one of the mottos for one of the Rockefeller people was the way to stay rich is to own nothing but control everything. And so the way they do that is by putting everything into a trust. So you've got any assets, say you've got a house and you want to put that into a trust. You put that into the trust, the individual doesn't own the property anymore. So basically their liability and everything go to nothing. So all their assets and everything are hidden away in private trusts. They don't get any tax or anything through that. They basically declare themselves as poor people, as people that need all these state benefits and everything else. But then if they want any money to go and do anything with, they leverage off the assets. So say they've got a house, they can go to a bank and say, here's my documents, here's the trust documents for the house. We'd like to leverage and get £50,000 out of that house. They basically get a loan on that house. They pay themselves that loan. Obviously, it's going to be the lowest amount of interest ever. And then they use that money to go and spend and do whatever they want with. But yeah, that's basically how the rich stay rich. They don't own anything. They keep everything in trusts, so they look like poor people. So they don't have to pay no taxes.
Oh, look at it. They're just corrupt. They get you into one system while they're in another one.
Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to flip the script. So if I can get everyone in this village getting everything taken out, putting all the money into a trust, then we can then go and hide that trust away with all the assets and all the money and everything in the trust, and then we can just leverage off of that and pay all the individual trusts and all the individual beneficiaries back out the money so that they've got money to live.
Can I ask you something? Just change the subject, although it's very interesting, and I really wish you good luck. I think we should have another hangout about that when you get it going. But there's a picture here of this lady. As I was going down the videos, there's a lady. She's looking at a star, and she says, "It says hand mixes up a star." What's that one about?
Oh, I think yeah, I know which one you mean. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, bro.
I mean, it really looks like a hand, doesn't it? Is in there mixing it around.
Yeah. So,
What the hell could that be? What? There's a big giant up there doing it.
You know all the people that had the P900s or P1000s and they're zooming in on stars.
Yeah.
They do. It just looks like oscillating water. It looks like coloured oscillating water. So like a bubble trapped in the sky with water in, or coloured water, and it's oscillating and vibrating in a certain pattern.
But how come it looks like there's a hand in it? It's even got 4 fingers and a thumb. You can see it.
Yeah. Supposed to be God's hand, but yeah, who knows?
Well, how crazy is that? Mind you, they do CGI everything nowadays, because I had one about a plane, and I thought it was an absolutely crazy landing, and Ellie, my daughter, looked at it and said, "That's CGI," and I said, "Really? Even that? Like, nothing you're watching is really real, is it? It's all CGI or something."
Yeah. In the next 5 years, it's going to be very hard to discern between what's AI generated and what.
YouTube, don't delete me. I'll be able to break it down for everybody and share it's fake.
Yeah.
You've got another one next to it. The sun is not 93 million miles away. You've put it as 2 miles away, yeah? Well, I think it's even less than that, but you could be right. Say a mile and a half, and the moon's about a mile away. And people will probably go, "Oh, how preposterous! How can she think that?" But it's when you realise it is, you know it is. You know it's not very far away. Neither of them.
So you can see the clouds that are in front of the sun and behind the sun. So 93 million miles away, the clouds would have to be 93 million miles away if the sun was that far.
We wouldn't be able to see that far.
Yeah.
But people haven't realised how close it is. Most people think the clouds are miles away. You know, and I put videos out to show you they're just under a mile away.
Yeah.
For me, they are. They might be a little bit further for you, but they're just, you know, on the videos they said they were under a mile, about 9 point something miles up. Sorry, of a mile. 9 point something of a mile up.
Yeah.
And that's why you can catch them in your P900 and zoom into them and all that kind of stuff, because they're only a mile or 2 away. And Enoch's gates, I definitely see them like that. They like sometimes the moon. It's like the curtains open and then the moon comes out, like it's coming from behind. It comes into like a gate and comes through, and then when it finishes, it goes out like that. I've been driving where the sun's there. I put my handbrake on. I look up and the sun's gone because it hits that whatever it is and it's gone. Another gate maybe. But that's very interesting because, you know, if people only realised how close it was, they'd realise we're not on a globe. But it doesn't. We don't know how it all works. How can America be seeing the same things as us?
Yeah.
But when you're higher up in the sky, I think that can see for further. You know, when you're a mile or 2 up in the sky, maybe you can see for 10,000 miles. I don't know. All I know is they have totally lied. And for instance, my iPhone picked up, you know when your iPhone, especially at night, isn't particularly good. But this night, it picked up, I changed the saturation. There's a chocolate chip cookie going across the moon. That's what causes the phases. And then there is that is like a door. and it rolls over, and there's a straight line where the door stops because someone else did some video on it, and then it rolls back and it rolls across, and maybe that's key 2 or the other one, but you know, and it's like, good God, I mean, that must be man-made then if this thing rolls over and rolls back. I just don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know, but all I know is it's not very far away. I'm glad that you've got to that bit as well, because some people will say, oh, it's 270,000 miles or something like that, and you think, no. But I think we all started off like that. When we were waiting, we knew it wasn't 93 million miles away, so some people would say, oh, it's 2,000 miles away. But it isn't. Because the light only goes up for a few miles, and then the sun is in the light. It's not, well, it's in the dark as well, but it's not that much above the light. And we can still see it. I mean, I find that all crazy.
Yeah, I've kind of went away from like flat Earth stuff. I think I've learned everything I can learn about it.
Well, we have gone on about it long enough, and we could be going on it longer if YouTube hadn't done what they did, because they cut everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
Up until a few years ago, we could sit on live hangouts talking about flat Earth and all that. We never bothered anybody else. I don't see what the big problem is.
They kept, I don't know who it were, but somehow your link got out, and then someone would come on and do porn, wouldn't they?
Yeah, we obviously, as a channel, were a lot bigger then, but obviously YouTube decided to get rid of that one because that's what they like doing. I mean, myself, I was viral on there on another channel. Viral, like my most watched video was 460,000.
Yeah.
That's like nearly half a million.
You were on Netflix as well, weren't you? On Netflix.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what I think? I think Mark Sargent. That was what was used. I bet you none of those channels are there now, and every single one that was used on his video has gone.
Yeah.
That's what happened by being on. I mean, I was really shocked because loads my kids' friends have said, "We've seen your mum on that video." Because I go, "Hi, welcome, Mark Sargent," but I didn't ask to be on it. I just got put on it. But then I lost my channel just after that.
Yeah, I don't know if Mark Sargent's a bit of an agent, to be fair.
Well, I don't talk to him anymore.
Yeah, well.
I don't trust any of them anymore. They all seem to have an agenda themselves.
Yeah.
You know, luckily for us, we're small enough that we've stayed with the people and we want to help the people. Those things just want some digit in their bank account or something.
Yeah.
I don't trust them anymore. You know, like they used to all be on my hangouts, but I think they targeted me. And when Mark Sargent got me that newspaper report, it was so nasty what they did to me. I'm sure that he was hoping it would kill me off. I thought it's a blow for me, but it's for flat Earth. That's what I thought. But I hated all that. I think it was to kill me off. It was horrible. I hated it. They put out these pictures of me that you'd never know it was me because they picked out the worst pictures possible of me and made me look like some guru witch. But he was part of that.
You've always been kind to me, Karen, whenever I've seen you. You've always been very nice.
Oh, you're a lovely person too, Richard.
You always speak nice. You don't swear much. I don't feel like swearing around you because I feel like...
Well, give us a swear word then. Go on, give us one.
No, I thought that.
You can swear bloody. Say bloody hell.
No, it's obviously swearing is a sign of expression, isn't it? If you don't use...
Well, I do swear sometimes. I swear a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating, isn't it? Because when you wake up, it's almost like the place you're living in goes against you.
No, it's... This is why I kind of got turned off when all that stuff happened, and I stopped really looking into things, and I'd only really watch things or look into things if they come to me. Now I'm going to switch because I'm back living on my own now, so I get a lot of time to myself, so I've got time to do stuff and look into things. So yeah, I seem to have had a second awakening, and I'm coming full circle, coming back and trying to do things now. And,
maybe it was good because it made you take a little bit of a break, if you know what I mean, and now you're looking back at it, you're seeing even more than you did before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I woke up before was I hurt my back when I was working. My mate's always talking about odd random thing. Illuminati and all that. That kind of started to wake me up. But then I hurt me back at work, and I ended up a month off of work, and then I tried going back and I couldn't do it. It pulled me back again and come back off work, and I was like, what on earth is going on? It's like I'm being told to stay at home and do something. So I was like, right, I'll just get my computer out, I'll just go on YouTube and just start looking around, and then started waking up to all the flat earth stuff, and yeah, it kind of boosted me into waking up. But the same sort of thing happened again. So I'll try going, obviously I lost I think 2 or 3 weeks, went back, started doing things again with a reduced work amount. I couldn't do my job, it was too much pain, so I ended up going back off again. And then I just went into like a bit of a depression stage, that like, oh, I can't do my job now, what am I going to do? And I ended up having another month off or something. And then, yeah, I'm back at work now. But yeah, it seems like I only seem to wake up once I get into like a bout of depression, and I'm like properly depressed. And then I just seem to reverse back round and start looking into more things and wanting to do more stuff. But yeah, I think it's a good thing really to be depressed sometimes. So depressed is deep rest. So your body needs a bit of a rest, so you get depressed. But I've gone through that now, so I need to start pushing forward and start doing things, which I think it is going to be. Because there's a group that I'm in. I can invite you to it as well. I'll send you the links and everything. So basically what the woman does is claims back all the gas, water and electric stuff that you've been paying, claims it all back, and she does the same with the council tax, and then you cancel all of them, and then you get your own meters put in, and then you basically just tell council to do it. And yeah, she's had...
I thought you had to be signed up to one of the utilities, that it's kind of illegal not to be signed up to one of theirs.
No, they're just a broker. The people that you get the gas and electric from, they're brokers. They're not actually the company that do anything with it. So you've got like Northern, what is it? There's like 2 companies that do electric, and then there's like another 2 companies that do all the gas. And they're the only companies that deal with all the mechanics and the
Is
getting
that
the gas.
Scottish Power and British Gas?
No, not British Gas. They're a broker.
Good.
Scottish Power, but they're all brokers. But there's
Right.
National Grid. They're the people that deal with electricity, and then there's one for gas. I can't remember, but yeah, there's only like 4 companies that deal with the actual supply, creation, transport of all the gas, and then we basically get a middleman that we have to pay. So the cost to get the electricity and the gas to your property so you can use it is around about £25, £30 for each service. So we're paying, I don't know how much you pay, but I was paying at one point about £50 for each service. That's double the amount. And then they start trying to put it up. I'm not going to get myself into a situation I have to choose between heating my house and looking after my child, and actually being able to get food for her. I'm not going to pick those. I'm not going to stand there and be like, oh, I need heating, oh, I need food. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not having it. So the gas, water and electric council tax is not getting a penny from me unless they can give me a reason as to why I should be paying them extortionate prices, and why everybody in the UK is doing the exact same to make people that are already multimillionaires and CEOs of companies making. So it's a backward economy. The people that do the most, i.e. Firefighters, paramedics, NHS workers, people that go out and build things and maintain roads and network rail, bus services, these types of things, people deserve the money for. They're not these big fat cats that sit on and they do like calls to all the people within the higher up people within a company and say, oh, this is going to be happening now. You've got to all try and work out how to do this now, and then and they get another £5 million next year for doing whatever they want to do, and all the lower downs get get nothing. They get a little bit of a pay rise or a little bit more of an incentive from somewhere to try and perform. And all we're doing, we're exchanging our energy for elite people or people that are already well off and they don't really need any more money to get paid even more money. Like, what are they going to do?
But people don't realise, they've stuck all our prices up. By making things more expensive, all they've actually done is devalue the money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is why all the CEOs and everything are in record profits, and they have to be so that they can keep their wealth with the price of everything else. So they're making record profits, they're getting record payments because they're devaluing the currency because of the discrepancy between the pay for doing things. But if you sit about and you point a direction for a company to go, what have you done other than saying you do that, and that's it? That's all. That sort of advice can make people millions and millions of pounds, and it's absolutely ridiculous because the people on the ground that are actually going and doing all that stuff, they could make them decisions themselves and go and do the work themselves. So a lot of times when I'm working, doing my job, they bring something in. And then they make us all conform to it and make it so that we have to do it, and it becomes part of the job. And it's something ridiculous. It's just something ridiculous that
Some regulation or something.
Yeah, like regulations or having to fill forms out at the end of doing a job, or it's just ridiculous. And all the lower down workers are going to get more and more and more work. They're going to be working even harder, and the people higher up are going to be working less and less and less. And the discrepancy between the two are just going to get so pushed far apart that we are due a reset. So this Klaus Schwab thing, and everyone was saying, "Oh, great reset," and everyone in the news and all these higher up people saying we need a reset. This is because they're trying to push the central bank digital currency, which is basically an acceptance of a form of new slavery. So you're going to get the money, and you either got to spend it in this shop, spend it in that shop. You can't take cash out no more. Everything's got to be on card, and you've got to spend it all between a certain time. Otherwise, we take it back off you. And that's not a world that I want to live in. So, I think we've got to try and set up a new system before we start trying to do all this, and have a system where people are growing stuff, fruits, veg, and they've got livestock and their own chickens, and we're just doing all these little things close and locally. And then when the time comes and they say, "Oh, now we've got to do this system," we could just be like, "No, screw your system. We're going to go and work in the field, and we're going to go and make little homes and habitats and little our own little culture, and we're going to start our own new world. We're not accepting your digitalised, futuristic, get a brain chip in your head and you can be God, new kind of world."
Well, they all want you joined up into, what is it, this heart or brain or something, don't they? Because they want to make you like you're in a computer.
Yeah, Elon Musk's brain chip, isn't it? So, I forgot what he calls it now.
No, we don't want it. It's like they brought in transgenderism. I'm not saying everybody can be who they want to be, but they bring it in as if it's a great big part of our life. Maybe they're happier that they're being talked about, but it's a very small part of our society, and people are just not interested.
And it's a very scary part of society because a lot of people...
And if you watch Jerry Springer, all they did was when the woman that's a man says, "I'm a man," the boyfriend punches them. So what's that telling you? Those videos are still all over the internet.
Yeah, when it's an agenda, isn't it? It's all an agenda. So there's the vegan agenda, that is an agenda. There's the transgender agenda, which is another form of depopulation. There's that many agendas going on, and they're getting so much publicity from it. They don't want to stop it, and they're getting everyone signing up and conforming to it. The thing that I am best at is sitting on the fence and not picking or choosing going this way or that. I'm really good at staying right in the middle, observing what's happening over that side, observing what's happening over that side, and coming up with a logical conclusion to both sides' problems. But when they started the UK riots, I've got a deco for that. I'll just read that through quickly.
Okay,
So
you
I
have to be a
think the
bit
UK
careful
riots-
though, because you know what YouTube's like.
Yeah, it's only words and numbers. It's only words and numbers.
Okay, then go
It's
for it,
not
darling.
anything.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
So, everyone saw the UK riots. For me, that was the UK's version of a 9/11, almost. UK version of 9/11.
Because it was so many different
that's what-
places, you mean?
Yeah, because it was all over, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
The
picked
main
up
one
quite a
happened-
few towns, didn't they?
Yeah, the main one happened in...
Did they do
Rotherham,
that
and
to see if the public wanted to sort of like, right, we're here, standing here, basically come and join us and get in the fighting? Then we'd have had martial law.
Yeah, this is what they're trying to
And
get.
people didn't get involved, did they? People stayed away. They have not realised who we are yet. We might say we're going to do something, but when it comes to it, we might not. And they haven't realised that even when they try and do things, I think, oh, look, because obviously the people don't want the government, this, that and the other. Oh, they'll start fighting. But the thing is, we were going to do the opposite, probably.
I'm on about. So this is why they're bringing over all these people that don't speak English. They haven't got any culture, English life. So they're trying to force, basically trying to force the idea of being British out of everyone's lives. What it means to be British or English or whatever. They're trying to get it out of people's lives because they want everyone to be one culture, one religion, one world currency, all this one stuff. And have one,
Yeah.
country. So,
Unfortunately, these people who we want to go, the Romans or whatever they are, they're at the back, the front, the middle, the side, they're everywhere. Unfortunately.
they was basically started doing all the smashing up, and then because some of the British public are just angry or young, or they actually came there to have a fight. And I'm not saying that there wasn't far right people at these protests or riots. I'm not saying that, but overnight, Keir Starmer basically turned the vast majority of the population of UK British citizens into far right enthusiasts that wouldn't accept equality.
Yeah, that's the sad bit. See, if you're just going to watch through the BBC or the television, you're going to listen to all that crap. You know, when I went up to London to some of the marches in the lockdown, a lot of those people could have been flatties, but they were actually moaning or wanting to protest about what that was about, and they pretended like we were the dirt of the earth. We were the dirt of the earth. Look at us. We're just people who want to make trouble. When actually those people went because we don't want it.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, the vast majority of the population of the UK is a far right enthusiast.
Or with the lefties maybe as well. When they choose, we're the lefties or the righties.
Yeah, they're trying to make out that someone's something or they've got to be something else and they've got to pick a side. And some of the people there were going, what side are you on? Right.
You know, France have been rioting a lot. They don't really put little bits about that on your news, but it's pretty bad there. And you think, well, why can't we riot? Why can't we protest? We're allowed to. We're supposed to be a democracy. But we're not, are we? It's totalitarianism. Totalitarianism.
Yeah.
That's what we're in. It's worse than communism.
Yeah, so this decode, it's all scripted, Karen. It's all scripted. Anything that's in the news, send me something in the news that you might be concerned about.
Oh, right, and you'll be able to do the numbers on it.
Yeah. So the UK riots started 3 months and 22 days after the eclipse. So what's that? That's 322. That's Skull and Bone Society.
Right.
So the phrase 322 Skull and Bone Society in gematria equals 617, which is the 113th prime number. From the eclipse to the day of the riot was 113 days, and the phrase UK riots is also 113. There was 61 date numerology, and Skull and Bones equals 61. it was also 3 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days after the eclipse. Southport riots equal 233, which is the mirror of 332. Southport equals 44, kill equals 44, enough is enough, which is what quite a lot of slogans and stuff were going around. Enough is enough equals 78, and the 168 and 168, and the words Prime Minister equal 78 and 168, and Order Out of Chaos equals 78.
Oh, golly. Why is everything on numbers? It's almost like we are in a computer, isn't it? Because everything's to do with numbers.
Yeah. It's the that's how they keep the system going, by making people think that we're it's a number-based reality. Because for me, all these things that I've done are factual. All these decodes are 100% factual. There's no denying it. You can go back and check these things for yourself. I'd challenge anyone to come to me and say one of your decodes is wrong, because they're not. They're all factual, and these are things that have happened, and how the media decide they want to tell us that things happened. And even in the offshoots of the waking up, because I think there's two awakenings going on. There's a forced awakening, which is like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, all these big conspiracy
Mark Sargent,
people.
all that lot, yes.
Yeah, they're all in this group that know about all this stuff, and they've been placed in places of power as agents. David Icke, he's amazing.
Oh yeah, he plays everybody as well. Oh, that man, he's disgusting. Carry on.
Yeah, he's definitely a Freemason. He's got his picture in a Masonic lodge, and his name's on the thing with the Masonic picture and his face there. And when he did an interview, he did a Masonic handshake. He's a Freemason. So these people get put in these places for a certain reason, to make the people that are waking up, make them think in a certain way and try and get them all onto this same.
Yeah, they tell you probably a
Bible,
little bit of the truth, but they just don't tell you the proper truth.
Well, that's it. They can sprinkle truth on top of a pile of turd. Do you know what I mean? They can make a turd glitter, but they can't give you the whole truth and the front and the back of it.
It's disgusting that they're toe rags, to be honest, pretending to be one thing while they're actually agents working for the government.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you this other decode as well. I only worked this out, what was it today? Yesterday. I did this decode yesterday. It was so funny that I'd done it yesterday. So a guy called Terence Howard, I don't know if you've heard of him. No. So he was in the film Iron Man.
Right.
You know, like Marvel films, Iron Man. Yeah, he was in the film Iron Man. And he went on the Joe Rogan show. And he got the most amount of views in the shortest amount of time on the Joe Rogan podcast that he did from like the last year or so. So he got the most amount of views. So obviously loads of people had ended up watching it. I think it's on like 11 million views or something like that. So yeah, he caused a big fuss. But the day that he went on, right, I'll do this decode now. So Terence Howard was born 11th of March 1969. So in the UK we write that 11-3-69 or 19.
Last video, Terence Howard decoded.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Right, go on
so so 11-3, so 113, the one that I was on about earlier, I said 113, that decode that I was doing a minute ago, 113. So Illuminati equals 69. So when you say when you're in the century, you don't say 1969, you just say 69. Like the Summer of 69 song. So Illuminati equals 69 in gematria. That made him 55 years old. Satan equals 55. All the satanic stuff ties back to the other stuff that I've done. Terence was on Joe Rogan show 5 weeks and 5 days after the eclipse. So he was 55 years old, and he was on the Joe Rogan show
Oh,
5 weeks and 5 days
why?
after
Why
the-
does everything have to be like that?
And then I used this bit again because it was from the previous decode. 322 Skull and Bone Society equals 617, the 113th prime, and he was born on the 11th of March, which is 113 again. And Terence was also on his podcast 1 month, 1 week, and 3 days after. So there's like three synchronicities there that tie everything back to Skull and Bones, Illuminati, and Satan worship, which is what all these mainstream Hollywood actors and actresses basically try and assume and follow.
Well, I think
just so that
actors
they
are a bit like soldiers, and they get Academy Awards, but that's like having something put on their chest, like they do in the army.
like a badge. Yeah, like a badge.
Yeah, like a badge.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the mayor of New York got one, so how could he get one if it's all to do with acting? He's an actor?
Yeah. They are all actors, politicians. But yeah, I'll just carry this last bit on.
Alright, sorry, yeah, carry on.
His full name is Terence Dashon Howard, and that equals 322 in gematria.
So what's 322
So-
then again? What's that number?
That's Skull and Bone Society.
Oh, right,
322.
yeah, you said earlier on. Yeah, sorry.
So that ties in again with that bit. And then his name, Terence Howard, equals 76. Illuminati was founded in 1776. So like I say again, when you don't say the first part, you usually just say the last two. So 76 again. The phrase skull and bones is 76. Skull and Bones is also known as the Brotherhood of Death. Brotherhood of Death in gematria equals 110, and it was 1 month and 10 days after the eclipse when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And there was also a film brought out called Brotherhood of Death, and that was released in 1976. So there's 76 again. And that was about black veterans going up against far-right Ku Klux Klan, which was strangely released on the exact same day that I did the decode.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, how much of a synchronicity did I have to do that on that day? Because I went to do it before. I went to do it about 3 months ago, or whenever he was on. I went to do the decode, and I started doing it, and then I forgot about it and left it. And then I had a strange feeling. I was watching Archaics on YouTube. I was like, I've got a strange feeling. I'm just going to have a look into this Terence Howard guy again and have a look through. And then, yeah, I did all this, and then came right to the end, and I was like, oh, so Skull and Bones. So it was Brotherhood of Death is what Skull and Bones is also known as. And that was released in 76, which links back again to the Illuminati being founded in 76, and Terence Howard's name, also 76, and Skull and Bones will be in 76. And it was about black guys going up against far-right Ku Klux Klan people. And it all happened, this film got released on the same day that I did the decode in 76.
Right. It's quite incredible that there's just only so many numbers and they all link back to only so many numbers.
That's it,
I suppose what it is,
I
if it's a 36 or a 9 or it's a 332, they're kind of telling you where it is, isn't it? What part it's in.
Yeah, so usually it's date durations that I start finding things with. So it's I mainly link everything back to the eclipse. It just seems to keep going back to the eclipse now. Since the eclipse happened, it seems like I can do decodes that are a certain span of days going back to the eclipse. And that all started because, Jacob Rothschild.
Right, yes, we've got him there. He died at the age of 87, yeah.
Yeah. So Lord Jacob Rothschild, he died 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days after the 21/8/17 eclipse, and 6 weeks before the eclipse that has just happened in April.
Is it because they're making magic, but not very good magic? They're obviously dealing in satanic magic or something. Is that why it has to be done like that?
Yeah, they all pick dates and times, and link things to solar and lunar events, and yeah, it's all linked. It's all linked.
It's probably the new sort of quadrant they've put us in. Ah, they're in that one now. That's when that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's disgusting. Well, I find it all disgusting. I just wish we don't live very long, Richard. Why don't they just leave us alone?
Well, we did used to live long, Karen. I reckon we used to live past 200 if we really
Yeah,
wanted to.
but then there's probably nothing in the air or anything like that.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
like they told you fat was bad for you and everything's lean, and then you find out people live longer when they were eating the fatty meat. You know, everything's the other way round now. They've like, turned everything round, but you know, like wives' tales they tell you is a load of rubbish, but when you look into it, it's usually quite a lot of the truth.
Exactly.
It's just everything is the other way round. We've actually done nearly all your videos now. I've gone through nearly all your videos.
Oh, nice.
I mean, obviously we can't hear what you're saying exactly. But
yeah.
The one with the moon, though, that's incredible. That's weird. But anyway.
Yeah. It might prompt people to come and have a look at my channel and have a look at that. And
it is. Anyway, we'll just go, because I've obviously down. We'll just up. It takes a little time. There's no button up, and so it goes all over the place. Come on. Up you come. Yes. Up you come to the top. There you go. I mean, I am actually on TikTok. And I get a lot of stuff from TikTok. But this is on the computer and it's on my phone. But there is the beer guy.
Yeah, I've got YouTube as well, the Beer Guy 8006. That's when I first started waking up. There's some stuff on there with like chemtrails and stuff. I seem to put more on TikTok nowadays just because I get more views. I've been on YouTube. Let's have a look. My first ever video on YouTube, coincidentally, it was in reverse. So it's 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So that's 322 in reverse.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the first ever video I put out was 7 years ago. So I didn't really upload anything then, which I should have done really, and started.
No, you were doing things like coming on my Hangouts, weren't you?
Well, that's it. Yeah. So I was,
for everybody that doesn't know or hasn't seen Richard, in 2016, that kind of time, maybe 17, Richard was on my Hangouts. That's on the other Sun and Moon, which they took, but that's the one that everybody was gravitating to. Loads of people have said good things about that channel. Obviously, the people on this Sun and Moon won't have realised that, but we used to go live every night for 3 hours. We used to show our faces, didn't we?
Mm.
We used to have a group hug.
I used to enjoy it. They had, I used to have Martin on quite regularly. We used to get Santos on.
Yeah. All those are people which I don't talk to anymore, you know. What did we say? Mark Sargent, all those people. We had all those people on.
Yeah, it used to be fun. That's why you got on Netflix. I think you can actually see you on Netflix when they do that.
Yeah, no, I go, hi Mark Sargent, welcome, or something like that.
Yeah,
but at that point, I think he was more our friend. But there was this bit when he just changed. When he went off for a year and all that, and then he wrote to me and said, "I didn't ask them to, but they put you on my video." And the next thing is I lost the Sun and Moon channel.
Yeah.
So it was probably all linked.
That probably points me towards more of him being an agent, like an early agent. But yeah, people are agents and they try and shut out the truth. And they knew that your channel, because
he's into the media, and we know what the media is, and he's the media person. Oh, he talks to all those, and we know what the media are. They're liars.
You'd have anyone on to speak about any subject, and that's what made your channel dangerous to agents. Because
you think so?
Yeah, because you bring one person on, and it was a flat Earth channel because people are all starting to gravitate towards flat Earth. But then, obviously, the people that would be specialised in something else. So you'd have someone on that would be talking about cryptocurrency, or you'd have someone on that would be talking about pyramids, or you'd have someone on that would be talking about history being incorrect. Or when Santos came on in the golden ages, that I like to call it, he'd speak about everything. He'd go through bits of law, bits of flat Earth, bits of astrology, bits of this, bits of that, and no one really liked it. Well, the agents wouldn't have liked it because obviously Santos Bonacci, he ended up getting like shut down in real life, like stopped paying things, and then they ended up going around and arrested
I
him
think
or
he went to
whatever.
prison for a bit.
Yeah, but he were only doing the right thing. He were only doing the right thing at the time. And now you see, everyone is starting to wake up more to the law side of stuff and finding out that UK government is a for-profit company, and that all your local councils are for-profit companies.
But
And
look
all
at
your
it this
local
way. Do you know what really
governments
amazes
require
me?
an NHS.
In 2008, when we had that recession thing, and you found out that nearly every council in this country had their money in Iceland, they should have all been sacked then.
Yeah.
A lot of
mass
people
fraud.
went bankrupt over that here in this country. But I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. How come they're all in Iceland? And then they lose the money because Iceland went bankrupt or whatever it was. So they lost all the money. How convenient is that?
Tax havens, wasn't it? Same sort of thing with 9/11. So 2001, was it? So everything happens in Washington DC, because Washington DC is like the military arm of this new world order. So they found out that there was trillions and trillions of dollars that were unaccounted for. And what did they do? They pretended to crash a plane into DC.
Oh, right, into the very room where the money would have been or whatever. Yes. Or the information about, yes.
That's it, yeah. So the cause and event. So the flight that this is another synchronicity type, like obviously scripted news. So the flight was known as Flight 77. If you put in Google or wherever, DuckDuckGo, just put Flight 77 in, and you'll find out that Flight 77 left the airport. It's 77 minutes, and then it crashed into DC, the Pentagon, on the 77th Meridian West. It just shows and proves that back in 2001 that they were scripting things back then as well.
Oh, they've been doing it. I think they've, this thing with CGI and composite and all that. They've been doing that to us since the 1930s. In the films and that, you can see the CGI then. So they were doing it back then. They were doing it before that. They've been doing it to us forever, probably.
Yeah. Then that's what I mean by now.
Everybody thinks they're so educated and they know so much, but they're undereducated and they don't know the right stuff or they know the wrong stuff. They don't even realise what they're talking about.
Yeah, or they know something that's really, really, really specific. So they're really, really good at something, but it's very, very specific. When I went on to Jesse's channel, it was like, well, what do we call you? Do we call you a researcher or?
Were you a bit nervous on that one because your camera was on? Were you a little bit nervous?
Not really.
Were you really excited then? It's the other way around. You're excited.
Yeah, because it was just like a conversation. I've spoken to him before, and I've got him on Facebook, so I've been messaging back and forth with him. So I'd watched a couple of his shows. It was him that approached me because he had someone on speaking about law and saying this and that about law, and I was like, oh no, that isn't quite that. It's this. And when they said something about what I don't know, something to do with promissory notes, and I was like, yeah. So every country in the world that has a central bank, their oil bank, they all use bills of exchange 1882, which was invented and created and spread across the world from the UK. Every monetary policy that exists in the world all comes back to the bills of exchange 1882, which is a UK thing. So yeah, it's I just found it easy talking about that in his little chat, and he was like, oh, I haven't seen you before. I was like, strange, because I've got you on Facebook.
Can you speak to him then? Say, I've copied a little bit of that, but you said I could have it. But say to him, he says he's not on YouTube, but he is, because he's in my video on YouTube. So say he's still on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, he's had his account turned off at YouTube, so it was only...
Why did they do that? Why did they do that to him?
I think because he has like the biggest panels and the most varied panel. It's basically like what you used to do. So you bring someone on and they'd talk about something that was off subject. So Flat Earth was the main subject, but then you brought people on that would speak about law, or you did speak
Right.
about pyramids, and he had that, but he was bringing on like doctors that were against.
Right, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I'll not say too much about that, but
Yeah.
this is what the type of thing that it.
I know,
get on
unfortunately,
channel.
YouTube has an agenda, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're good at finding words that are inside a live stream or something, and then putting up a little Wikipedia page at the bottom of the video saying, oh, this person's on about this. This is what it says on Wikipedia, which is trying to contradict, obviously, what the people in the live or the video are on about.
When they talk about flat Earth is archaic and all that, but yes, that's because Google Maps owns YouTube. That's why. Google Maps is the globe, and they're owned by the BlackRock family.
Yeah. They all every company that's big in this world, they all funnel back to either.
There's two of them, the BlackRocks and.
There's four really. So there's Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, and Berkshire Hathaway, because Berkshire Hathaway own most shares in BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. So that's the only reason why there's Berkshire Hathaway there, which is like Warren Buffett. So yeah.
Well, you can see what's going on there then, can't you? Just like the trusts. We'll do all that and we'll be able to partner it out. It's like saying, so they said the Queen doesn't own Buckingham Palace anymore, but the monarchy does. Who's the monarchy at that time was the Queen. So she does own it. I mean, when you die, you can't own anything. So what they do is they just change the law a little bit and it suits them. It suits them.
The royals are in the same club. So.
Oh, do you know what? I can't see how I like them at all anymore when you work out they're the Romans. They're Romanovs, related to Putin. It's all just pathetic. Charles must be an emperor because he owns so many countries. He's proxy king, you name it. He is definitely an emperor, definitely. He's probably like a double emperor, the top emperor, and then you've got people like Putin who are emperors below him.
All these people that you're mentioning, they're all puppets. They are all puppets.
Yeah, they all have the same boss.
Because the people that own the banks, i.e. Rothschild and Rockefellers and whoever, they can go up to. So this is our king now, yeah. So what you're supposed to do when you're around a king or a queen? You're not allowed to go up and approach them. You're not allowed to go and start talking to them. You have to wait for them to talk to you. You're not allowed to put your hand out to shake the hand. They have to put their hand out for you to be able to shake theirs. This is how we're as plebs, us public people, are supposed to behave around royalty. But elite bankers can go up to them and start poking them on the chest, because I've got the picture, and there's Rothschild, and he's there just poking him on the chest like, oh, naughty, naughty boy, telling him off. So yeah, there's people above the royals and all these politicians and everything.
Do you know what monarchy means? Monarchy means you have to have a king and you have to have a parliament to make the monarchy. So when they say that Charles doesn't play any part in our political thing, it's a load of rubbish. Without him, we can't have a monarchy or a government. It's just, it really annoys me. And also for me, my paths on this has been a bit different. But I've worked out there's just one religion, that's Catholic. So they changed where everybody got the sin so they can make the other churches. But they christen the children all with a Catholic thing. So everybody's a Catholic. Even a Protestant is a protesting Catholic. And I took this to a minister where Mickey lived in Carl Shulton, and he agreed with me. He said, you've got that right. It's just one religion. We're in one religion, Catholic.
They've got more advanced than that, though. The Jesuits, if you look into the Jesuits, it's the counter-reformation of the Roman Catholic Church and Judaism. So basically Judaism and the Roman Catholic Church joined together. And if you notice, above 10 Downing Street, there's actually a Jesuit logo that's on the window above the door of 10. If you put in now 10 Downing Street and look at an image of the door, there's half of a Jesuit logo above the door.
Also asking you then, they made us believe that Prince Charles was a Protestant, okay? But what religion do you think that he belongs to? He's a Catholic.
He'll be either Catholic
It's
or
Reformed
faith.
Church. He's a Catholic. And that's what. And
Yeah.
Camilla's a Catholic. Like, why not just tell us? Everybody thinks he's a Protestant, which is a different religion, but it isn't. A Protestant is a protesting Catholic, so we're still Catholic. But he's Catholic anyway because he's in the other church, the Reformed. Is it the Reformed? Whatever it is, he's the other church.
He's probably still lying about that because the majority of the world's leaders are either Jewish, which is not actually Judaism, because you don't call anyone Jewish, you call them a Jew. If it's Jewish, it's not Jew. It's Jew/ish. So it's kind of Jew, which is.
Well, he's a Roman, isn't he? So whatever they are, whatever the Romans are.
It's the same as Zionism. These are the types of religions that they're not hidden. They're out there, but they're just not that well known of. They're the people that control the world. Jesuits, Zionists. There's Wahhabism, and there's all these little spin-offs of all the main religions, and they're the people that dictate things, and all these religious leaders as well. Oh yeah, they're all in on it. Oh yeah, they're definitely in on it. So the Pope, yeah, his name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio. In Gematria, that equals 201. I think it's the Jesuit order also equals 201. He's the first Pope that's come out as being openly Jesuit, not actually Roman Catholic, but Jesuit. And he's also the first Pope that has resided in Suite 201 at the Vatican. So this number 201 and 56 is linked to Jesuits. And if you go on to Gematria Fakes News Gematria Channel, then you'd start to understand. So obviously that's where everyone starts when they start doing Gematria. Basically everything's controlled by Jesuits.
Right. I've also done the bit where the Union Jack fits everything. It's nearly all the flags in the world. Just look at Jamaica. They've got a crisscross like Scotland. So they live, when they put the Union Jack on the top, they live on the crisscross of the Union Jack. And they've got triangles, lines, you name it, crosses, crisscrosses. Nearly all the flags come from the Union Jack.
Yeah.
So I've worked that out. That's probably why YouTube don't like me, because I've kind of worked out some of the background stuff. But it's by accident. It's just like you go through this stuff and then you suddenly realise what you're looking at. Yeah. Well, we've been going for an hour and a half. Do you want to go a bit longer?
No, I think that's been all right, to be fair. I think we've got quite a bit of information now.
We've gone through nearly all your video.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple of me decodes and everything. Yeah, if there's anyone in America that finds this, please try and get in touch with me. If you can't get in touch with me, get in touch with Karen and she will point you my way. Because I am working out how all you American people can go into a car forecourt, pick any car you want, car out, and not pay any pennies for it. And then obviously you can do whatever you want then. You can either sell it to someone else or keep it yourself or do whatever. And then you can do the same thing next month and go and pick another car. So I think this is how we're going to start trying to claw some money back off of these people using special endorsement. And I think it is creating links, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't finished the series and the lectures and the courses that I've got to do to be able to learn how to do this. But yeah, if there's any American people out there that want help with money and they have car forecourts that are near them and they can get to them, I can help you a lot.
We don't get that here then. It's not the same for us.
Sorry?
It's not the same for us. We can't do it.
Well, because they use all these US code, 38 US code, 38 US code, what is it now? I can't remember. So in America, they go through all these US codes, and they can use US codes, and they've got things written down like lawful money. So things that aren't lawful money I think this is how he disqualifies the contract and lets people keep the asset, i.e. the car. But in the UK, I do know one person that has now been removed from Facebook, which is really annoying. It happened literally 2 or 3 days ago. He's got taken off of Facebook now, so I can't even get in touch with him. But yeah, he paid for a car using a promissory note. So he went to the car dealership, he handed a promissory note over, he said, go and take that to the bank, and then when it's in your bank, ring me back up and I'll come and collect the car. So yeah, he bought a Mitsubishi L200 for like £5,000, and he used a promissory note to pay for it. And then he tried to move on to doing houses, but obviously he has to go through all estate agents and solicitors and stuff with houses. It's not as easy as just walking up to a car forecourt, and none of them wanted to do it. So we had big plans to try and start getting big properties through promissory notes, but obviously it's a bit harder doing it that way. But yeah, I think if we could do that over here, I'm trying to work out the American way of doing it, and then I'm going to try and make it into a UK version of doing stuff. So hopefully I can crack that code. And I think if I offer access to the information, and if I can do it on a regular basis, I'm thinking I might be able to quit my job and help the American people get all this free money and free cars or whatever, and then they can give me little cuts of whatever they're getting for me helping them. There's some people that say thousands and thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars for the information that I've got, but I won't be charging that much. I'll just be charging enough for me to make enough to keep the roof over my head and keep working this stuff out for everyone. Hopefully that's the stage that I can get to, and I don't have to be going
I wish
to
you
work.
luck on that one, so we'll have to have a hangout a bit later on about that, what's happening, and if you manage to do it and stuff. So everybody, any Americans who want to know any more information, get in touch with me, the Beer Guy on TikTok. Richard is on Facebook, but get in touch with me, or yeah, it's probably, well, I'll put the link to your YouTube channel or Beer Guy channel in here. Maybe people can get in touch with you that way. If not me.
Yeah, I've got my email on my YouTube channel, so they could just email me.
Okay, I very much appreciate the chat. We haven't spoken a little while. We do messages to each other, don't we? But we haven't spoken for a little while.
No.
How old's your little girl now?
She's 5 now.
5, golly. Good gracious me! I've not actually been with you with your little girl. That was a bit after me. We met up at Flat Earth things or whatever, didn't we? And then yeah. Well, very much appreciate that. Anyway, 5, golly, big girl now. But she tells you what to do, doesn't she?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but it's always usually in play and fun stuff. So she's seen how I play with her, so she started adopting that, but telling me what to do instead of me telling her what to do. So
anyway, I very much appreciate you coming on. We'll talk. I'll finish the hangout, but we'll talk and say goodbye to each other afterwards. Thank you very much for listening to Richard. Thank you very much, the chat room, and 10:10 till we do it again, Richard.
Definitely.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Cheers.